All right, ladies and gents, it has been a while since I have been able to catch up on the legend iSit, and the time is now. iSit over here in the blue, he's a player who is very well known for his sitting strategies. And the story, if you don't remember, is how I found him. There's a website that I use to search for games. Sometimes people use that instead of the game to look at lobbies called awe2.net. And there's a little chat room there, and normally the chat is just a waste of time. But on one particular day, many months ago, he said, I don't attack, I just sit. Attacking is scary. And I immediately went to his profile. I immediately downloaded his games. And you'll see a little pop-ups on screen here if you're watching on YouTube. He's freaking hilarious, man. There are arena games where he sits back. We had Migration, though, as his key map. So the idea of Migration is you start off on this island, and eventually you want to then migrate to take the middle island. iSit's strategy, and actually, you know what? This is actually awesome. Their elo, when this game was played, is actually at the bottom right. Sorry if that's confusing. Let me actually just remove this because I guess that's not relevant. Now that's their current elo. But iSit's strategy is to take the relics as quickly as possible, bring them to his island, and then try and surround the middle island with ships. Which is absolutely, ridiculous. Because what you should want to do is, get the relics. That's cool. But you should want to collect the resources in the middle, too. So, I haven't seen this. But the reason that I'm here casting this right now is because I saw that this was back in the map pool. I saw that Migration was back. And I went to iSit's profile. And what do you know? He had played some Migration games. So, he is still technically a low elo legend. Or, I guess technically not a low elo legend. Because he was over 1,000 elo for this game. But both of these players at 1,000 elo working on things, and we will see. That's pretty much just it. That's the only intro I can go for. I don't know who Sivlan is. I can see Sivlan has brought the deer in before any of the cows. What you should want to do here is you want to send a lot on wood like we have seen from iSit. And then you should dock and add fishing ships and then eventually transport. That's pretty much it. And I said that's pretty much it 3 times. I'm sorry, I'll stop. But I'm trying to think of all the unique legends we've had. I think what would be the most fun if we were to have a legend showdown, okay? It would probably be the Legend of iSit versus the Legend of Wall. The Legend of Wall is the player who's notorious for walling people in. And then iSit, he never really wants to leave. He likes to sit. So that would be pretty funny. One person walls in the other guy. That guy just sits back and says, bring it on. Who cares? Maybe that's something we can organize in the future. As far as I know, though, the Legend of Wall player is considerably higher in elo. I think he's 200 or 300 elo higher than iSit, so that might not be too balanced. Fatslav versus iSit? Oh, that would be really good. Yeah, that would be really good. I guess Fatslav was kind of the original iSit, just in a different way. And wow, look at this. So red is actually going to open up with a transport here. And you can see iSit on this side is opening up with fishing ships. So should have the better economy. Okay, so here's the deal. I talk about this a lot, but it's worth bringing up here. It's very hard to play Migration. And it's very hard to play water maps if you're new. And in general, the majority of Age of Empires 2 players, they only know how to play a couple maps. They get a build order down, they go to wood, they make their mill, they do whatever. So when you get thrown into a situation like Migration against someone who favorites it and picks it and has a strategy designed for it, you're probably going to perform a little worse. iSit is a player that I have seen increase in elo drastically based on what maps are in the map pool. And there's that at high elo too. So when I look at red right now, the transport itself is fine. It is something that you would normally want to do. In fact, it is actually free with Sicilians, so I shouldn't talk too much smack on the choice. But he didn't make fishing ships, and he has struggled with the Vil production compared to iSit. And iSit it's just playing a lot smoother at the moment. So we'll see what ends up being the long-term what happens here. Also, to everyone who's watching the stream, was there just a bug for you, or was that on my end? Because I have this thing that shows my broadcast, and it just showed a game from like 3 hours ago and just flipped back to this. I don't know if that was a bug or not. I'm sure it was fine. Okay, so at the moment, we've got red in the middle. He's got a villager here. This is definitely the focus, okay? When you think migration, even if you've never seen the map before, you should know the definition of the word migrate and realize, I'm on a really tiny island. Okay, I dropped frames. Gotcha. Well, we're back. I'm on a really tiny island. I should probably scout and control this middle area. And you should. And you kind of have to. Yes, it's important. But it's that balance of how much fish you have and how you treat the game that really makes it interesting. And so here we have iSit. And he has played this very well. Adding tons of fishing ships, going for a second dock now. And you can see, guys, I'll show you the power of the fish. This is why I'm always preaching place a good lumber camp and fish. Look how much wood and look how much food he's brought in. That TC is always producing villagers in an ideal world. And then the dock is always producing fishing ships in an ideal world. Yeah, Sicilian transport ships are actually free, though, so that was some good savings there for red. Who decides, you know what, let's just take some of that stone there in the middle. So, here's a question for you guys. It's not really like a moral question, but I'm curious on your general thoughts on this, right? So, I'll use a player like Ace of Emeralds as an example. Ace of Emeralds was a legend, or is a legend, who would always play a certain way, and he would always take golds and stones that were not at his base, to the point where he's walking across the entire map to take this stone and gold, and the idea is, you know, save your gold for later type of thing. However, it's pretty extreme, right? To the point where when Ace of Emeralds actually wanted to play normal, which happened eventually. He was like 800, 900 elo after hundreds of games playing like that. You know, he shot up to like 12 or 1300 elo. Is there an issue with that? Or is that not a problem if you're not like trolling people? So for example, like if I was like, I'm a 2300 player now actually. Ooh, feels good. But like if I were to create an account just to like smurf on people and like dunk on people and do dumb strats, that might be a little mean. But like, a lot of people like to play the game a certain way, and they don't necessarily care about how many wins they get. It's how they win, I guess, is my point. I'm just curious on your thoughts on that, because every time I look at iSit, I'm like, this is a guy, if he, like, really wanted to try and play, like, you know, tournament style, he might be, like, 1,200 or 1,300. You know, he might be a little bit better. So I'm curious on your thoughts on that. My take on it is that everyone should be able to play how they want to play. And I think iSit kind of like gets off, honestly, on surrounding people with a ridiculous strat. Like he really enjoys surpassing people in a unique way. And he might not enjoy playing if it was not that way. Like the sitting thing is his MO. Scott says, I think it comes to intention. If they're just doing it to have fun, they can do it. If they're holding themselves back. Yeah, I think it comes down to intention as well. I think that it's a very dangerous thing when it comes to like video games or even sports, you could say, to sacrifice having fun for winning, you know? And I think it's like an easy trap to fall into. Now, some people can only have fun if they win, and they don't care how they achieve the victories. You know, that's a thing too. But I think there's nothing wrong with it. Unless, of course, I'm playing against someone who's playing Arena. And then, if that's the case, it's a problem. Because I don't want to play Arena. Just kidding. Check this out, though. We've got Sivlan. Is that how you say it? Sivlan. He's dropped his dungeon in the middle. And he's going to drop another dock here as well. He's also making sergeants? What? Okay, so his whole approach here is when iSit arrives, I am going to have units. So this is a tower, basically, for the Sicilians only. And the sergeants can actually... Is he getting in the transport? I think he's trying to. The sergeants are an infantry unit that can actually build more dungeons. Getting horse color in house, maybe thinking about farms. This dock will help with fishing Placed a little bit more. iSit hasn't exactly rushed to the castle age, but there we go. There we have the click. And look at how he's positioned himself. Now, what he could do, he's actually scouting nicely. What he could do is he could mass all of his galleys and go kill this guy. But that's not what iSit likes to do. iSit likes to, he wants to know, but he wants to sit. You got this galley protecting this opening, this galley protecting this opening. And something he has done historically in this map is focus on the water, and he kind of gives up the middle. But he has done it before. In fact, what it turned out being last time I saw him, and this might even be considered spoiler if this is a super long game, but his cannon galleons with Spanish all around the outer ring, and then the enemy, it's so funny, the enemy like ends up in the middle, and they just can't ever get to their shoreline again, and they just get stuck. Okay, here comes red. Yo, this could be really interesting. Or it could be awful for red. I mean, either way, it's going to be interesting. Red is going to try and transport these dungeons onto the enemy island, I think. But this could be bad because iSit has Navy waiting. He's sitting back. And red is like, just passing. And I think iSit saw it. But I'm not sure he'll be able to stop it. Uh-oh, red. You better commit fast here, buddy. Blues definitely saw this. Okay, iSit is chasing it. He's got to find the land, and he's got to immediately land. And he has to be careful not to build the donjon on the shoreline. And actually, this works out for red. Look at this, because he's actually killing some fish. And here he is. Now, he can make one. Yo, let's go. These things can make more donjons. And so he's going to make this, and I don't think iSit has ever faced up against something like this before. This is going to be unique. I mean, he can't take this stone now. That said, is in castle, is getting Bodcanero, is getting War Galley. I think there's a chance that he could maybe shoot this thing down. And you got to be careful if you're red here. You want to make sure that you hop back inside. Good news for red is red's taking all this stone. Red could click up to Castle Age here in a moment. Unfortunately, he's missing the market. The market's placed, but I don't know who's there to build it. So I think there was a mistake there for red. And we'll see if red can maybe build another one. Now, this is kind of forced iSit's hand, but you'll notice he got guild nets, which leads to him fishing a lot faster. He's now getting careening, which leads to more transport HP. Or, sorry, transport space. And also ship armor. The donjons continue to flow out of the building here, and iSit with some good quick walling. And the Navy is actually helping the most here right now. The red is going to try and make another one. This is far too close to the shoreline. You can't be doing this if you're red. I mean, you can, obviously, but I think you're going to end up regretting it. It's really awkward, but they can actually start taking HP off of one of your buildings while you're building it. And then when you finish it, it's going to be on very low HP. So I think that's what's happening to red right now. Honestly, though, if he placed it here... Oh, that's disappointing. If he placed it here, it might have worked. Clearly, iSit panicked. I've never seen iSit make an archer. But the fact that he forced iSit to make archer is actually... forced him out of his comfort zone a little bit. Okay. More sergeants. Making more donjons. Now, what these things cannot do is they cannot make a castle. Sicilians do build castles really fast, though, so it's possible red will want a castle in the middle. I think this strategy is unique from red, but I think it's definitely working because his fish haven't gone down. And he's kind of kept iSit focused so much at home. Yeah, first time you've ever seen iSit make an archer. But man, does he know the power of fish. And guys, I think... Now remember, this is a player who's not going to make a second town center in the middle. So I think he is going to go fast imp. With the fish boom. And being unable to take one of his golds. And isn't that not the same spot that you tried earlier, red? He's stubborn. Okay, here come the archers. And, okay, he's like, hey, this is cheating. I've seen the videos of you. You can't be making archers like this. Actually, the thing will go up, though. because the Navy's not there. Okay. Remember, those sergeants do cost food. And wow, 3 dungeons on iSit's island. And iSit is a little overwhelmed right now. TC could slowly go down to the Aerifier here too. He doesn't have stone to take. And he hasn't made a transport ship yet. And now we got more dungeons coming over and the archers are going to have to chase. Okay. This will be easy clear up. Spanish don't get crossbow, by the way. It's one of 2 civs that don't get crossbow. And bam! Villager kill. 6-0 eco KD for red. As we see a town center in the middle, and we see a castle on the shoreline at home. Interesting decision for that. Did I say donjons making sergeants? I meant to say sergeant making donjon. Same thing. Same difference. But there's been a slight compromise for iSit in terms of what he's made here. He did make 4 archers. But he's still adding fishing ships. And it's so strong. To redock and make fish, I talk about it all the time, brings you so many resources. And he is going to go for his monastery. And then his university. And he's going to probably click Imperial Age in the TC that is underneath 3 dungeons. Meanwhile, for red, red's like, okay, well, we need the middle. We need to control the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to make TC, make more vills. Over here, you know, we'll worry about this and adding some farms soon, I'm sure. Red now thinking about controlling water. Red's like, I got the middle, I got his island, and I got water. This is very important. I want you guys to hear this because it's got to click for you. How do you play migration? You want to control water, you want to control land, and if you can control parts of their island as well, this is a really good strat. Like, I think the order of things is a little off, but the way iSit's playing it is very different. The guy is, like, stuck on his island. And what's he doing? He's making monks, and he's getting fervor, okay? So, fervor makes your monks a little faster, and the 5 relics that generate are in the middle of the map, okay? Now, red is actually making a monastery to get monks as well. Red with 46 villagers stuck in Castle Age, obviously, but comes in here with the fire ships now. Now, this is a problem for iSit because iSit really needs to have more galleys. The fire ships are going to be able to take fights against these galleys, and iSit, who is maybe overfished over here, he needs to micro this down, and that's not going to be the easiest thing ever because he just doesn't quite have the numbers. We also now have villagers dying here on the gold for iSit. He could start losing his houses, start losing his docks. But if he is able to get imp upgrades on Navy, it'll obviously be a little bit of a different situation here. He clearly has the confidence in getting across there somehow because he's making the monks already just to get relics, which don't really matter unless the game goes on really long. Some of the fishing ships will act as distractions here, so in the end, iSit will kill this. And iSit's going to lose one of these docks, sure. At this point, the Eco KD is 15-0. iSit is, I mean, he's got the wood banked, but he's really struggling. He needs to get chemistry right away. I think chemistry can save him. Backed against the corner, the legend. I guess people just know what he does now. You know? They know who he is. They know what he does. By the way, I didn't mention it at the start, but they did say good luck, have fun, and a little YouTube. I'd like to see that. So Spanish have amazing cannon galleons, okay? It's something you don't see too frequently from them. And their cannon galleons fire so fast, it doesn't even feel like it should be part of the game. But it's never, like, seen. No one's ever been like, oh, that's stupid OP. Because you have to get to late game to get there. And you have to research chemistry before you can make cannon galleons. And then you can always research elite cannon galleon. Now, all these ranged upgrades that iSit is going for the water also applies to these archers. And red must be feeling like a god right now. Because red's like, I got this. And newsflash, red, you don't have it. Because the TC hasn't gone down yet. He's going to try and drop a castle here. Sicilians build castles so fast. That's such a good castle. It's right next to where iSit would pass with the water. And okay. iSit is completely out of resources to take on his own island, guys. This is shaping up to be a beastly game. The guy's got no gold, no wood income at 34 minutes. What a rush from Red. I'm loving it. Also, Red was able to get 3 relics, so he's getting the relics in the middle of the map. And Red, I know the score doesn't say right now, but Red currently has a pretty big lead. That said, we've got the transports for iSit, okay? We've got the transports. The villagers are going to start loading up. We've got the cannon galleons. No elite cannon galleon yet. That's too expensive. iSit has indeed been sat on. And I'm sure Red was just like, oh my god, I'm destroying this guy. Thank you, T90, for putting the video on YouTube. I just had to keep him trapped, and he's good. And then he sees this. And I'm sure he's like, what, wait a second. Wait, oh, okay, I forgot about that. How did he get the gold for that? How did he do that? Which, to be honest, is a good question. Here comes iSit with, like, massive shipments of human beings over to get resources. The Red's probably like, well, okay, I guess we give up that castle, but I still got 3 relics. About to be 4, maybe even 5 soon. And well, what you should want to do if you're Red is you just go full water now, right? You add extra docks, you go full water, you win the game. The guy can't take this. Like, this is actually going to take time for iSit. And as far as you're aware, iSit doesn't have anything on land either. So you go full water, and here comes Red, and Red says, boom. I'm going to take down this cannon galleon. And I'm not sure what happened here, but that was the ship as well. And now you have sergeants going for the TC. You don't see this every day. I respect Red so much for this. Taking out the only town center for iSit. iSit, though, does have the stronger navy for the time being. Red, really intent on keeping this castle up, has to back up. But also feels the need to take out the cannon galleons. Red, the problem with taking out iSit's only town center is he definitely has nothing else to look at right now. So he can out-micro you. And look at the micro. Look at the bait. Red gets baited a little bit. Okay, still the migrations of labor heading over. iSit hasn't been able to take gold in a long time. But he is going to take out that castle. And now Red is close to getting pop capped. And, I mean, this is fascinating to me. Because Red has kind of broken the code of migration. Like, you never go to someone's starting island on migration. That's not usually a thing. He's done that here. And that, from what I remember from the last iSit game on migration, he always brought the relics to his starting island. You can tell he was ready for that. Red getting fast fire ship, which I think is a perfect choice. Making lots of fire ships would be great. There's not that many galleys right now, or galleons for iSit. Also, it's worth mentioning, regards to the score right now, that water inflates your score massively. So I understand iSit has a score lead right now, but a lot of that's because he's got all these inefficient fishing ships. They're all fighting over like a couple hundred food. It's a close game, but I think Red definitely has the lead currently. iSit's like, well, you forced my hand. Okay, you forced my hand, and he starts to make TCs, taking the wood, taking the gold, taking the wood. So he's going to have what he needs. And, you know, for Red's making a castle here. And Red just loves sergeants. This is the most sergeants I've seen in a long time. I have complained nonstop about this unit ever since it was introduced. I really think it's not worth the cost. I think dungeons are too expensive, yada, yada, blah, 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 blah. But he's making it work, I guess. He's making it work. iSit is so confident he's going to win this game. He's already dancing. Wow. Oh, my God. Oh, my. What the? What is this? This has to be a bug. Oons, 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 oons. It's a rave. Let's go. Rave, wave, I guess you could call it because of the Navy. Anyways, we got some monks in here. They're not going to approve the disturbance. It looks like iSit clicked his Navy here and they just got stuck on the shoreline. Can he send more ships? That would be really fun, actually. There go the monks. They're like, all right, guess we're partying tonight, boys. Let's go. Let's roll out. Everyone's favorite monks. And iSit adding a lot of vills. Adding quite a few vills. Now, I think for red, a big mistake here is not outposting this, right? Like, that's got to be like the biggest thing, the biggest talking point is just simply not having an outpost there. I think he's sending units over now to check, and he's going to see this and be like, oh, that's bad. But yeah, anyways, we shall see. That was pretty funny there. That was pretty funny watching those ships. I want to see like 25 ships stacked like that. Like, clearly Red's mindset was to control this with something. You know, he had placed a dungeon there before. So now he's going to see this, and now I think he'll get to formulate a game plan. But sergeants on town centers that have bracer and chemistry is a great way to donate kills to the opposition, and really nothing more, from my perspective. Here comes some navy here from Red, whose monastery is now getting hit. And these elite cannon galleons for Spanish. Look how fast they fire. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but they actually slowed down the firing speed of the Spanish cannon galleons over the past year. It just hit me. I think they used to fire a lot faster. I think they made a tweak to that at some point, which is a little sad, but they're also still beastly, so whatever. Anyways, Red is immediately moving the relics. Where's he taking the relics? He should take the relics to his main island. And he's getting ship right now, so his ships will be cheaper. He definitely needs more navy here. They did slow it down. Ah, of course they did. Yeah, these are elite. Elites before were like a machine gun. Boom, boom, boom. That's like not a machine gun speed. Machine guns are much faster, but you know what I mean. Where are the monks at? Is there another monk somewhere? Okay, he's got monasteries. He's very relic focused. Here you've got a Treb now from Red. And, I mean, it's going to take out iSit's town centers. Red is making... Okay, a crucial moment in the game. Red is relocating his monastery back here. So he's taking iSit off of land. And iSit is not making archers, not making cav. iSit has no land resistance. Except for making a few monks. All iSit is going to do is go water. If Red could please kill this galleon, because I keep seeing the blinking on the minimap, and it really bothers me. Thank you in advance, Red, for that. Yeah, Red's got a Treb. He's got some sergeants. He's relocating the relics, which give you long-term gold income. He has more gold income. He has more wood income. iSit is actually just repairing the town center here, which is actually a huge waste of resources, but I guess he needs something. Oh, here are two monks. I guess these are the monks from earlier for iSit. I guess they were over here. Okay, we've now got a dungeon. Also, Mirek, I'm not sure what you're on about, but this is freaking awesome. And how about we not? We've got galleons now. Not a lot of wood in the bank right now for Red. But the sergeant and the dungeon play is just meant to keep iSit off as many resources as possible. What is that lumber camp? What is that lumber camp? What does that do? Okay, lumber camp very far away from the wood. These villagers are starting to go down. The KD looks good for iSit, as he's going to come over here and drop a castle where he can take stone and gold at home, which is really important right now as he continues to get attacked. The fishing ship situation, very cluttery. I mean, you have to imagine they've brought in a decent amount of food over time, but at this point, it's not near as efficient, and you can see this. This is going to be funny. So First Crusade gives you 7 free sergeants, and it's instant from each town center you have. So there's going to be 7 sergeants at home for Red, and then there's going to be 21 forward. And Red is like, I got this guy, man. I've got him. And I'd say the only concern for Red is simply the fact that if he gets anywhere near the shoreline, there's going to be Spanish Navy. The Spanish Armada is ready and waiting, as you can see here. As you can see here, but Red continues his push. And I don't know, man. Like, I love iSit. And I understand he's dedicated. And he's going to take golden stone now. But Red's starting to switch on the water now. And Red's got so much gold and so much wood. And Red is also trebbing down everything. And iSit has to, like, get out of here on transports again. He had to leave his starting island before. Now he's, like, going back to his starting island. These villagers have seen it all, man. They're like, we're going home. Yay. The monks are in there, too. Quick, everyone get in. Run away. Run away. How many transports does he have? He's got 10 transport, 12 actually. And there's still sergeants here he's got to deal with. This is actually ridiculous. This is really funny, man. Also, kill this freaking galleon. It's bothering me. Ay, ay, ay. These villagers have heard it's safe, guys. They're like, oh, it's safe back home? Perfect. And then they arrive. They're like, what? We were promised other things. And finally, Red, you know, he's probably feeling good. He's like, all right, let's make that dungeon. Nope, it's not going to work. That's not going to work. Okay, but the castle's there. Red's actually played really well with his micro, these things. And he's going to make another dungeon. He's all over iSit. And he's got Navy now. And Red says, it's GG. He's like, resign, please. And iSit says, nice try. Oh my God, I hope he comes back. Please, iSit needs to win this. Oh my God, can you imagine? Red's like, resign. You have none of the middle island. I have full control of the game. Why are you wasting time? Is essentially what that means. And iSit didn't even have to think about that. He just said, nice try. As in, nice try trying to get me to resign. Like, this is my strat, okay? You don't get to say those words to me out here. I mean, I think it's fair to say, regardless of the result on this, Red super deserves to win. His rush certainly surpassed my expectations. His unit control, all impressive to me. He is fighting with galleons that don't have bracer or chemistry, which means he's 2 upgrades behind, which is going to hurt. Not to mention that cannon galleons are always a problem. But, like, Red has had a really interesting game plan here, and I like to see interesting game plans rewarded. I'd say the concern for him is simply if he lets the Spanish control the seas, and he doesn't, this is going to sound weird, but if he doesn't move the relics somewhere where it can't be ranged. I don't know, you put the monastery here or something, it's really hard. They'd put the monastery here. But, I mean, he's queuing up fast fire ships now, and iSit is finally clearing this up. So to sum this up, iSit got rushed, okay? He got transported. He couldn't take his stone and gold and wood. He had to go to the mainland, where he also got hit. Same thing happened. He has to go back to his starting island. But, like, being at the starting island is not a good thing. He's actually adding more fishing ships now as well. It looks like maybe he canceled some. It's funny. What if Red goes to get upgrades later and then doesn't have a blacksmith? Like, is this not iSit indirectly telling you to get upgrades right now, Red? You really got to get to that blacksmith and get upgrades. Blacksmith upgrades don't apply to fast fire ships, though. Red said, it's GG. iSit responds with, nice try. Nice try. He likes the long games. He's just still waiting. The only thing he has on this island right now is 2 monasteries and 3 lumber camps. From Red's perspective, this is what he sees. He is making another dungeon. He wants to make sure that there is no coverage, no area where iSit is taking resources. He's got crop rotation, which why not if the game's going to go on for a long time? You don't want to spend as much wood on your farms. He is getting blacksmith upgrades. He got blast furnace first, and then he'll get bracer. And then, okay, so Red places that, and now Red sees this. And Red's like, all right, it's time to kill this guy. I've got somewhere to be. I've got to go eat dinner. Mom said one more game, and normally I would play on forever, but I actually really want to eat dinner tonight because she's making... I don't know. What's your mom's favorite meal? What's your favorite meal that your mom made, chat? I don't know. I don't even know. Mashed potatoes and literally anything. Like, forget whatever. Forget what else is with the mashed potatoes. I'm a big mashed potato guy. Elite Sergeant, Bracer, now Ballistics. Okay, so upgrades that were missing before. Let's see how these fires perform. Remember, iSit, his whole MO is to control everything from the shoreline. This whole game has been ridiculous, but he's got Spanish Elite cannon galleons. No Civ can make cannon galleons that fire like this. And fast fires are strong, but you're probably going to need to have a little bit more than this if you're red, because he looped around on this side at the same time, which might have felt like a good idea at the time, but he's not going to win the fight here. So iSit starts to chew up these units as we have red now getting heated shot, which is relevant. Castles and towers will do more damage against ships. Red now has all 5 relics in this monastery, by the way. And I'm sure red's like, geez, this guy's really fighting. Okay, let's make more docks. Let's make more navy. Didn't expect that. And let's continue our push. If I go for cannon galleons, by the way, I stop at like 5. With Spanish, I think it actually makes sense to go to this many because of the firing speed, they do a really good job against other ships. Think of the long term, though, for red. He's had the relics, he's got the gold, and he's got the stone. iSit is almost completely out of gold and stone. We have 200 stone and 200, like maybe, okay, 800 gold there. And so that's why iSit is loading up the transports right now. And here comes iSit. So iSit uses that fight to be able to transport over. And is dropping a castle there now. And will drop a TC to take these resources. So iSit has been here. iSit has been here. And has been completely moved off of everything. And now iSit is trying to take the north. From what red can see, red's like, he made 10 transports. That must be a good idea. So he's queued up a bunch. From what red can see, iSit doesn't have much. And oh my god, do you guys remember there being a castle here? Because I don't. Oh man, iSit, you ruined my joke. Those castles melt, man. Holy crap. And he's dropping another castle. So, and he's dropping more docks. And this is, you know, red was in a position to be a bit patient. But now that the fight has been forced, and this is a massive fight. This is a massive fight. Now, the key here is to hunt down these cannon galleons, if you're red. But you don't necessarily, I mean, you kind of need to kill everything. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Just fight with what you've got. Cannon galleons flee. You've got the castle fire, which is certainly helping iSit. But he's going to lose all of his galleons. Red with a pretty good engagement there, I'd say. And this is also... Ooh, wow, actually, they did a really good job. Still, in the end, I think red will be fairly happy with that. He won't be happy with seeing the castles, though. We now have Shipwright for iSit, who, by the way, is slowly losing control of the right side. I'm sure he could deal with that, but he's now out of gold at home. He's placing another castle. Like, he is just all about the castles. Look at him. Look at him using the market, buying wood. Like, he knows he needs more ships, but he's running low on wood, so he's got to buy it. And now red immediately shows up with Trebs. Remember, red told this guy, call it, basically. He's like, resign. And red is showing him, like, you can continue to fight, but I'm just going to Treb you down. I've got control of the middle. And he's adding sergeants, too. I mean, there's a couple small things, like red could transport these units over, but overall, red's good, man. He's got every relevant blacksmith technology, every relevant university technology, except for chemistry, which is actually pretty big. The fact that he got heated shot instead of chemistry tells me he might actually be making the low elo mistake to think that heated shot is chemistry. There's a chance there. God, those elite cannon galleons. Did you see that? The Trebs just went right down. Now, I don't know if red was frustrated before, but red certainly must be feeling some frustration now. Like, oh my goodness, this fight, man. But he looks at his resources. I'm sure he's feeling good. Here he comes, hitting the villagers from iSit. iSit only has 58 villagers. That's not a lot, and he's losing a lot more here as he tries to take the wood. He's never been over having 1,000 of each resource over the last, like, 5 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on his bank. In fact, let's look. Yeah, this is just a massive lead for red, except for the wood somehow. Well, this is just not a wise move. You know, these sergeants, they can't walk on water unless I miss something, so... Well, I guess he's using these... Okay, he's using this as a distraction. Over here, taking a big fight against iSit, who's got a massive, massive navy. It's like Red heard me. Red now getting chemistry. So Red, you know, you probably should back out of this. Sometimes water fights are hard to judge, though. This, to me, like, seems like an easy retreat. Back up and make more navy. I think it's because he's fighting from both sides. He might not be able to focus, or maybe he's distracted. Or maybe he thinks Blue's distracted. But something's gone on here. And Red, you know, I'm not sure. I think it's because he's gone home, guys, to queue more ships and to make more trebs. But he just completely lost that one. But again, he's got the wood. He's got the gold. He's got the resources to be able to push. And again, iSit's not floating res. Like, he's barely got the wood to make more ships right now. So we're going to see Red take this castle out. Good job from him to use the trebs on this side now. It's honestly not even a bad thing for Red for iSit to just waste more stone into repairing this, because there's no way iSit can do anything there. 1 hour, 10 minutes. I mean, listen. Like, iSit's whole thing... This is freaking Galleon still here. Kill it, man! iSit's whole thing on migration is to do what he's doing, but get the relics. And he has not been able to do that. Like, it's just not... How is he going to be able to do it when he can't compete with the gold income and the wood income? That's where the problem set in here. And now that chemistry's in too, I mean, it's going to be purely the power of his ships. And we'll see the power of his ships here. Red going to engage in the fight. Getting some good kills, moving forward with these trebs. Only thing inside the castle is 2 monks for iSit. He's at 90 pop. iSit, you know, buying wood, selling stone. He's really desperate. He's at the limit here. And Red, I mean, ships are clunky, so it's a bit awkward, but I think he's doing a good job to take the fight, because why not? You've got the numbers. This is where you can end the game. This is where you can finish off iSit and maybe look correct about what you said earlier about how this game is over. What did he say exactly? Should I page up? Maybe remove the market events? He said, it's GG, is what he said. Hey, monks are healing the villagers. That's not really going to do much. But the villagers still could kind of take wood, kind of take gold. I mean, he is stuck. He is stuck right now. Can't move. Sergeants seem really helpful to snipe villagers at this point. 150 pop versus 100. 37 galleons versus 37, though. And the trebs are now going to get sniped. Okay. Which means the TC and the castle will stand. Red is now making his own cannon galleons. And I will say it's really awkward to push into choke points where the other guy has docks, because half your navy will attack their dock and half their navy is going to attack your ships. So it's just not a fun situation, but that's why you just patrol into the docks. Just make more navy, patrol into the docks, take out the docks, and that's not a problem. We see cannon galleons going this way for iSit, so he's kind of separating his cannon galleons from his main fleet. And iSit has more here, guys. iSit has more here. Red making more sergeants. And iSit's going to clear this up. And I mean, he just doesn't go away. And he's going to snipe another treb. So here he goes. He's back to stone. Or sorry, back to gold and back to wood with what little's remaining there. Red has taken 2 really bad fights. And he continues to want to make sergeants. And I mean, It feels like the key's water to me, but obviously the sergeants have helped kill some villagers here or there. Also feels like the game is stupid over right now, so... iSit's got 2 farms and 4 fishing ships. Yeah, Red doesn't like to retreat. He doesn't like to retreat, that's true. Would love to see Red sell that food at the market right now. I also would like to see him continue with galleons. iSit, producing more villagers somehow on this TC. He's down to 1 wood line and 1 gold at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Again, it's like, this is deceivingly strong, because if there's ever a point where iSit can control the full sea, he can control the full middle, he can control all the middle resources, you know? Like, the sea is so important here. Fast fire ships in front for Red, not bad. That's a good little meat shield, he's going to need that. Doesn't have the galleon numbers behind, though, which I think is important. And I think the sergeant play is kind of making it awkward for him to control everything. Guys, when's the last time, though, that iSit has been below, above 100 pop? Here come the sergeants. It's going to kill all the villagers. It's less than 40 eco overall for iSit. Who's about to lose even more. Sure, he's backing away. Sure, he's making more navy. But Red can continue to do this. iSit is now down to 64 population, and he's going to lose his TC. He doesn't actually have the stone to be able to rebuild the TC here. I think he can push this back, right? He can definitely push this back. Hopefully Red will retreat here. Like, Red needs to retreat here. But okay, iSit just ended up buying the stone for a new TC. Gonna add the market facts back so we can see that. Does anyone know if Sicilians get elite cannon galleon? I feel like they do. But I haven't seen Sicilians on water too much. Okay, a couple cannon galleons have been over here, picking off some vills here or there. I mean, obviously the Spanish cannon galleons are the stronger of the 2 regardless. Oh, they don't. Okay, all right. Thanks for letting me know. 70 pop for iSit. It's 100 for Red. Red's resources are really good. Something that I think Red needed to do, though, is he needed to take some of this gold. You know, he's got so much control of it. I would have liked to have seen him take more. These cannon galleons also have sneakily done a lot of damage, too. Look at this. 17 eco they've taken out, and 48 total kills. 1 hour and 20 minutes. iSit refuses to quit. He sits, he no quit. Also, I absolutely love the joke that iSit is like an Apple product. That was back when I found this player. Red, you can see this. He ran down here to address this. And now iSit is looping around this way. What iSit has done a really good job of is just stick to his task. Make ships, patrol forward, and keep a good eye on the fights all the time. And Red is getting overwhelmed. Guys, is Red throwing? He's losing this town center now. You can see the desperation kicking in as he's queuing up more galleons. He actually doesn't have a lot of wood floating. And you want to know why? It's because his farms continue to reseed. Got 11k food. Could maybe use the market right now. iSit has 86 pop. Red has 86 pop. And iSit said, you're not going to take those relics either. Look at this, guys. He actually popped those relics out of there. Really, he is a really good micro. For 1,000 elo, he is really good micro. Again, I think the reason he's 1,000 elo is because, well, it's weird. He actually shot up to around 1,000 elo because migration was in the map pool. So there's that, but also the weight. I actually am not sold. I'm not sold. I've seen his other games. I don't even think he could be like much higher than 1,000 elo. I think he's 1,000 elo because of how he plays it. It's so weird, this player. Okay, I want to see what Red has to say about this. Like, Red is completely frozen. I want to look. Hey, red is... Oh, my God. He's panicked. He's panicked. He's going to drop a castle here. He is definitely trying to find a way back into this. iSit is on wood, and iSit is on gold. He actually has more on wood and more on gold than his opponent does at the moment. And he's starting with shipments of villagers. Look at this. Creating vills, shipping them over. And red says, probably a good time to get that Castle Age wood upgrade. Probably a pretty good time for that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's true. He has Sicilian crop rotation, so maybe those farms didn't reseed that much. I remember looking earlier that iSit had more wood than him. So it could have just been a low wood focus, you know, for over most of the game. He's definitely sending more villagers out here, though. And he's repairing the monastery, and he's getting all of his relics. So iSit would need to have cannon galleons again to be able to push the castle, so this buys red a lot of time. And red is queuing up more navy. Dude, I would love to see iSit say something to red right now. I would love to see him say, resign, it's over. Like, the guts that would take after iSit has all the relics is just insane. But, like, I know that red has struggled with the fights. And I understand that he doesn't have Spanish. But at the same time, he's collected 30k more resources. He has collected more wood, more food, more stone, and more gold. He's collected more of everything. Just, he needs to get the number. And for that, he's going to need more docks here. Like, this is where you have to have some level of urgency. Getting more docks up is definitely the key. He's going to get more fires. I don't mind fires, but you want to have 50-50. Like, 15 to 20 fires, 15 to 20 galleons. You want to have a mix. This here? Oh, he's going to kill this! For the first time in the game, he's actually going to kill that galleon. That's the only reason he clicked over there. He did not know that iSit was there. And he's freaking out, man. That's so funny, though, how he finally goes to kill that freaking galleon. That galleon's been attacking his blacksmith all game. Oh, and it's been bothering me. Oh, jeez. It's like every time I look at iSit, queuing up navy, queuing up galleons, queuing up, shoot, I forgot the name, cannon galleons. And red's got that queue now, but iSit's here to force the fight. And as I said, I think fast fires, they are good against galleons until the galleons get a big mass going. So you really need to have the fires as the meat shield and then galleons behind. And red just doesn't know. He's probably a guy who plays Arabia. He might play Arena. You know, he doesn't understand the water meta and the water fights as much. He tried tons of sergeants, and it's finally come to the conclusion that maybe that's not the play. But guys, these cannon galleons are no joke. Castle's going to go down. iSit has the population lead. He can take all the stone and gold and wood he wants. We are at 1 hour and 30 minutes. The relics are right here. T90, do you think that blue should be prioritizing the docks? He is, right? He is. In that case, the castle is big priority. Red's completely freaking out. Red went from saying it's GG to iSit saying nice try to red just getting completely swamped. And oh my god! iSit says you can resign again. Which, by the way, is a taunt. It's 105. You know, questionable at times, morally, on if you should use that. I would personally lean against it. But many people might say that this is revenge. Because red said very similar thing and said it's GG, like resign earlier. Fast forward, what was it, an hour? 40 minutes? And he's getting a you can resign again to the face. He didn't even type the taunt. He wrote it out. Because if you were to type the taunt, it would say that. And red with no response. And I imagine that's not going to make red feel too happy inside. But update on red's situation. Red's got sergeants, which can't do anything. Red's got villagers, which... Wait a second. Hey, red's still here. I just kind of felt like, you know, what can he do from here? Red's dead. Yeah, you reap what you sow. I don't know. So you could talk about it till you're blue in the face. You know, everyone's gonna have a different outlook on that. But I'll tell you this: iSit has access to gold. iSit has access to wood. iSit can now get the relics. He has the monks ready. There's 2 inside the castle. I don't know where the others are. Oh, there's 2 inside this castle. He's been waiting for this. And Red's gonna drop stables to go light cav. Red has 17,000 food, so he is now gonna go light cav, which honestly would have been a much. Now that I think about it, I think that would have been a little smarter than maybe the sergeants earlier. But at the time he was making the sergeants still seemed fine. The problem here is this is him completely giving up on water, right? Because that could have been wood for docks, and he can only take this wood down here at the moment. And Red is going to start to lose his houses. Red is going to start to lose his farmers. Red will have a very tiny eco in the middle of the map. And iSit's only at 100 pop, but iSit's got the navy. And at this point, that would mean he can control all of these resources here. Can't really hit this middle area with the navy. Could hit this, and you can see he's already on the way. Red said, "This is over." Did he know who he was saying it to? Because, you know, maybe some of his early attacks were because he knew who iSit was. Look at iSit. Little quick walls here. All right. Well, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Nice little quick wall. You know, just quick walls out like half his villagers. But it's a nice attempt. Respectable. Still going to be down to 30 or so villagers, but respectable. Red is at 35 pop. If he had the relics and like 5 docks, maybe. He's using his wood to make houses in. This is over. Now, is Red going to admit that this is over? Is he going to go away quietly? I don't think so. I'm sure he's very frustrated with himself. Possibly the opposition. Probably blaming the civs. Or he could just be having a really good time and he's not upset at all. I don't know. I have no indications that there's salt behind this. He hasn't responded. He hasn't said anything. He's clearly focused. Probably bent over, you know, like biting his bottom lip, you know, sweating. But, I mean, these villagers are going to get massacred. And that creates pop space for light cav, which is kind of funny. Villagers are all getting killed. Good point. Red actually does not have a market. So he would need to somehow chop wood to get a market, which I think would be... If he has a market, he has a chance. But I think he made one too many houses. No TC, no market. He could actually... Hold on. He can get one. He's got a couple trees here. And then he has a lumber camp here. Meanwhile, we have iSit. And iSit is researching... hoardings, which is pretty funny. iSit still patrolling around. At this point, he has completely cleared off the main island of the enemy. And Light Cav went in and they killed a bunch of villagers. iSit is down to 22 villagers. And Red is hoping that tree gets chopped. That's about to be an overchop. I don't know if Red knew that. Yeah, Red just noticed it. iSit could lose all of his vills here. Wait, what? Yep. Yeah, iSit's gonna lose all of his villagers here. To the Light Cav. Red is 4 vills. And iSit is gonna have like 10. Which is kind of funny. Good work there from Red though. I don't know if he noticed that, but that was really attentive from him if he did. Okay, now Red can make a market. And a market would certainly help in some ways. iSit's got a farming eco at home, by the way, if you were curious. And the monks just seem to be waiting. Like, he's making more vills, sending them into the castle. iSit just seems to be waiting it out. But obviously, you can make more vills. And there's the market for Red. Okay. So what do you do here? You gotta buy... You might want to sell some of that food, honestly. Because you're not going to be able to make full light cav for long anyways, because you're going to get housed. So buy wood and then get docks down. No. Make a monastery. That's what you do. You have to make a monastery. And you got to make monks. And you somehow have to get these relics into your monastery. And I think you could... Okay, there's a TC. That's fine too. I think you could actually get the relics if you use the light cav as a distraction. Because if you get the relics here... While there is some gold here for iSit, he can't take that comfortably. And look at iSit. He's actually making stone walls there. And he's making monasteries. Yeah, he wants those relics. And what iSit should do is transport. Yeah, okay, and here he goes. So iSit is going to hop into the transport ship with his monks. iSit can see the relics, which is why he's patrolling here. And he's looping this whole navy around. He can only range so much. But currently he's taking out some stables. Red's like, yeah, we really need farms because we're Sicilians. Yeah, I don't know, bud. Not sure if I love that idea. I think you're, like, really in a bad spot. I think you really need to have wood to make docks. But it's also tough because, like, if you dock, iSit could see it. You can see why this player likes to do this because look at his vision. He sees everything, guys. He sees everything. He's got it completely surrounded. Here he comes with the monks. There should be 2 there, unless I missed it. And again, he's just looking around, looking around. He's going to get this one. Dropped it for some reason. Is he bringing them all closer to the shoreline? Is that the idea? Is he just bringing it within his range? Or was that just... That's what he's doing. That's really funny, man. He's like, I gotta get this close so we can make this as easy as possible. And here come the other monks. Oh, no, just one monk. Okay. And Red. Okay, you know what? Respect to Red here. Red realizes he's been bested. And he says, damn, nice comeback. I respect that a lot. I like to see it. And no response from iSit. We're going to see him grab relic number 2. I don't know if we'll ever get this relic because the pathing and this is a little dance party. Oons, oons, oons. I told you the monks are partiers. Oh, God, on both sides. Oons, 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 oons. Okay. Does he have a separate transport for each monk? It looks like he does. Okay. No stable for Red. Red's sitting here in disbelief, like, how is this happening? Red does have the monastery, though. So Red, I think, should use the light cav as a distraction and go get the relics. Okay, light cav obviously are going to die, which is a sad thing. And here comes Red. He's like, you know what? I got to raid this guy. I got to raid him. Let's go. Let's raid. This is my moment. It's my turn to come back. And wah, wah, wah. Completely trapped. There's no way he can get past. iSit just placed a wall, which will block him. And Red calls the GG. Red went from saying it's GG to iSit saying nice try. And iSit bringing it back. iSit didn't even need to have the relics in his possession once to make it happen. This guy is insane. Say what you want. Obviously, Red could have done a few things better. It's easy to say when you watch it. But iSit just commits, man. He sit, he commit, and enemy forfeit. That was so good. He's a crazy player, man. I'm so glad I found him. Had I never seen that message of attacking is scary, like what, 2 years ago now, I would have never found this player, and I'm so happy I did. Now, what's funny is when I looked at his profile, guys, he had like 3 or 4 wins out of the last 10 games, and they were all on migration. Now, I actually, that might not be true. I got to check. But anyways, he had like 5 Arabia games, which is all losses. So if he doesn't get the type of setting where he can sit and play the super long game and outlast people, he's not winning as frequently. So anyways, he's a crazy player. For Red, I just say, you know, I guess you got to put those relics in a safer position. I don't even know. Like, I wish I could have some type of hotkey to press that would show me where the cannon galleons wouldn't reach, it's probably like right here. He would to somehow have the foresight to place his relics in the middle. And then from there, I think he got to win on Navy. You know, the sergeants, they did such a good job. I think Red deserves a lot of respect and salutes, by the way. There's going to be people who talk about how he ended up throwing this game or losing this game, and maybe he did. But the Donjon Rush was sick. His boom was sick. His economy was so sick. It's just he completely neglected water at the most crucial of times. Probably should have just stuck with galleons there and just outmassed iSit. You know, you're not going to out-strategize the guy. You got to beat him at his own game. You got to beat him on water, and then you'll end up being fine. Because this is painful. Like, think about the resource difference. Someone do the math there. That is a gigantic difference in resources. Also, someone said Red plays like this all the time on migration. Really? Hold on one sec. Can I look? Let me look at his account. He plays Portuguese on migration. I'm not seeing a lot of other migrations. I don't think that's actually accurate. That would have been cool if, like, he had his own way of playing the game and his own strategy, and he tried to bring it to iSit strategy on migration, but there's only one migration strategist, and that is the player iSit here. Impressive stuff. So I'll repeat what I had to say. I say this a lot. I think that what makes Age of Empires 2 great is how stuff like this is possible. I know it's ridiculous. I know the average player is not going to touch migration with a 10-foot pole, but the game has so much variety, so many different ways you can play it, so many different ways you can win, so many different ways you can lose. The stuff like this is special, right? So if you don't respect iSit strat because you think it's ridiculous, that's fair. At least respect the fact that he's playing. He kind of made up with his own He came up with his own strategy. He's playing his own way, and is seemingly having fun with it as well. The sad thing about recorded games, see, this game happened like yesterday or the day before I just downloaded this, is that we actually don't get to see if they had any after game chat. It just kind of cuts it off right away. So I'd like to think that, you know, we saw the thanks there from iSit. We saw the GG. I'd like to think that they sat down and like talked about it a little bit more. Maybe Red added the guy on Steam and they started playing some games together or something. But, whew. I'm going to have to decline the offer, by the way. Someone said, I went to see a T90 versus iSit in a best of 5 on migration. First off, how dare you? Okay, I'm pretty sure I could beat him. But also, I won't take the risk. I just won't. There's a 98% chance that I cream him 3-0 because there's a massive elo difference. But that 2% is far too high. I can't be beaten by a guy like this. A guy that I'm casting at 1,000 elo, I would just be so embarrassed. So I'm going to decline that offer. Thank you. I don't know how much money you've got. Maybe you've got $1 billion. Not worth the risk. Okay? Not worth the risk at all.